you have to be selfish with your time. You have to be selfish with your health, because if you are pouring from an empty cup, what are you getting? Energy backwash. And there's no such thing as good backwash. Like, that's gross.
Good point.
Yeah. So you have to fill up your cup first, so then you can pour into your spouse, into your kids, into your employees, into the people that you interact with, even if that is via social. Right? They're going to look to you. You are the best example that you can set for your kids on what it means to live a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
Welcome to the Soul Summit podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Preedy. I'm here to help bridge the gap for women and families in the outdoors, build a community of adventure junkies, and roll out your weekly dose of positive vibes. With almost 2 decades in the health and fitness world and an untamable passion for hunting in the outdoors, my mission is to help you live your bucket list life and move boldly in the direction of your dreams. Meet us here weekly as I connect with like-minded outdoor men and women to discuss health and mindset, accountability, life and entrepreneurship, as well as all things hunting and epic untold stories.
Today, I am actually recording in person in my not studio with Kim Palmer-Nix of Spear Strength Wellness, and excited to have her here. You're actually here because we're kicking off archery camp this weekend and thought we would get a recording in. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Not just for the recording, but also for the weekend. Like, I've been geeking out and going over my notes for this weekend for like the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, super exciting. And the women that are coming, I think it's so cool because like they all just have this passion. They like want to be better bow hunters or archers. They want to feel more fit, be able to keep up with their kids a little better. So it's really cool that we can kind of collide our two worlds, the archery and fitness side of things, and put on this camp here in Fall Creek, Oregon on my property, which is also really cool. And I feel like it's kind of like, I wouldn't say full circle necessarily, but really cool because this is where we started doing camps back in 2017, 2018. And to now have a new house, a new property, and kind of different way. We've actually got some returning camp guests that are going to come in and get to see the transformation too. So that'll be really fun.
I would definitely say that's full circle. Not just partial circle, it's full circle.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. But let's kick off by just giving a kind of overview of your life and what brought you here, what brought us here together, and kind of your backstory.
Man, that is a loaded question. So depending on how nervous I am or how excited I am, my accent will come out. Vowels, they get me, especially like the I's. Yep. So originally from Texas, born and raised. Like, we actually did a generation, or like those genealogy things. And turns out I am 7th generation Texan on one side of the family and like 5th generation Texan on the other. So Texas through and through.
Heck yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, born and raised Texas. I'm the oldest of 4. So my siblings were my first best friends, are still some of my best friends. Like, we're still really close. But out of the 4, I am the only hunter, which is, I mean, it's cool, but also I'm like, hey, you wanna go outside? You wanna go hunt with me? And they're like, I'm good. They like camping, but not necessarily hunting's not their jam. Yeah.
So what gave you the foundation of the outdoors and wanting to pursue a lifestyle for yourself and your family in the hunting arena?
So I did grow up hunting. My dad, he hunted all of his life. I actually have a really cool picture of my great-grandfather with a whitetail buck, my grandfather with a whitetail buck, my dad with a mule deer, and then me whenever I was, I think, 10 with a doe. But now I get to replace that with my blacktail buck from this year, which it's so cool. Hunting ran in my family, and that was honestly our main source of food. We were like low middle class growing up, and so hunting was a way of life. It was a way to feed our family. We weren't trophy hunters by any means, and thankfully my family are cattle ranchers, so we did have access to beef, every spring. And then of course fall in Texas, you get like 3 doe tags. It's awesome. So my dad and I would go out and hunt our family's ranch. bring home some meat, and feed the family for the entire year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What is your favorite, like going back? What is favorite memory that like comes to mind?
Oh my gosh. It would have to be my first hunt. So I was 5 when I shot my first deer. I was carrying my big old 243, which seemed like 1,000,000 pounds at the time. And my dad, he was like, okay, where I step, you step. When I stop, you stop. Yes, sir. Okay, let's go. And so for reference, he's 6'4" and has the stride of a giraffe. And I'm, I come up to his knee at this point, and I'm over here just stretching out, just trying to take big steps. I'm like, okay, I gotta step where he steps. And so, like, by the time I get into 3 of his steps, he's 30 yards ahead of me. I'm like, oh, he's just like, come on. So remember that. And then when I caught up to him, he was kneeling down behind a mesquite tree. He was like, hey, do you see that doe? I was like, uh-huh. I was like, okay. So he sat me on his knee. I shouldered the rifle, and he has me, so like I won't go flying back. But I'm sitting in his lap. He's got me. He was like, okay, can you see through a scope? Uh-uh. Takes his hand, moves my head back. Now can you see it? Uh-huh. It's like, okay. Put the plus on the shoulder. Okay. He was like, squeeze the trigger. And I squeeze it. I hit her, and she goes down. She goes down maybe 20 yards. And we walk up to her, and he was like, good job, kid. I'm like, you ready to gut her? I'm like, yeah, daddy. Where'd I start? Pull out my knife. He was like, I got this one. You just watch. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a cool... I mean, those are the kind of memories right there that just like leave such a lasting imprint in your, yes, in hunting, right? But just like with your dad in that instance, like that's something that you'll never lose. And I feel so fortunate, like for myself, and also listening to your story of like having, somebody to like mentor you in that way and, go out there, whether it's right, wrong, or different. Like if you've had exposure from your family or from somebody like coming up in that, like there's something so special about that to me, just kind of getting to see that very innocent kind of first steps into something, which is such a cool place. I think that's also a little bit why I like teaching new archers. You get to see those like big moments happen for them and like the exciting like ahas of like figuring something out or perfecting or like really refining a skill, which kind of like leads me over to my next question for you is talk about your path into health and wellness and the fitness realm and kind of what brought you there and then what you're doing with that now with Spear Strength Wellness.
Yeah. So I've always had just this obsession with getting better. I played all the sports that my town offered. It's a small town. It's like 4,000 people, right? And my graduating class was 90 people in my class. So, I had the opportunity to play any sport that I wanted to. And there was a separate, like not affiliated with the school, but just kind of the introduction into archery. My dad worked for Benton Moore, who was a saddle maker. He passed away in 2006. But my dad was under him learning how to make saddles, and I would also go into the saddle shop and I would do like make spurs and stuff like that, belts. But Benton was a big archer. And so that's how we got started in archery. And so through all of this, right, of playing sports, of getting into archery when I was young, I wanted to pull back the bow, but I couldn't. And so I'm like, Dad, how do I pull back a bow? And he's like, well, you got to start lifting. It's like, okay, what do I do? And he had this men's health book, like Book of Muscle. I still have it. And I would thumb through that and I'm like, okay, I need to work on this muscle and this muscle. This exercise does that, so I'll do this. And so I wrote it down. It's very rudimentary, but that was my introduction into lifting weights because girls didn't lift weights in middle school. barely even in high school did we lift weights. And so my obsession with getting stronger started there because I wanted to get better so I could pull back a bow, so I could push girls around, because I'm not the tallest girl. I'm 5'5". Yeah. I'm average. But I became known as being the strong girl on the teams, and I loved it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a strong girl. Yeah. I'm like, don't you mess with me. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
And so that carried on into college. And so I went to the University of Texas, hook 'em horns. I went to the University of Texas, walked on to the rowing team. And that was my first true introduction into what a strength and conditioning program looked like. And it was unlike anything that I had ever experienced. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with how capable my body was to do anything that I wanted to. Like, if I wanted to go hike Big Bend, okay, I could. I don't want to say easy, but it was fairly, it was enjoyable. Because it was enjoyable, it was enjoyable because I was strong. And that clicked for me. And I'm like, ooh, this is what I want to do. So I pursued kinesiology and health promotion through the University of Texas, graduated, and dove into several different gyms. There was a fancy boutique gym that I got to. That was my first real job, training professional athletes, from professional football players, professional golfers, professional triathletes, which was really cool. But then being able to work with Gen Pop and them, like you were saying, with working with new archers, seeing a woman deadlift 100 pounds for the first time, she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can do that. It's like, hell yeah, you can. Absolutely. Like, you are stronger than you think. Yeah. And so it was that, and I was like, it was gradual, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that I really wanted to specifically work with women and then work with women outdoors until like later. I mean, I've been a coach, I guess, officially since 2012. So, and over the course of 13 years, 14 years, I've finally found this is the niche that I want to pursue. Mm-hmm. This is the niche that I want to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so needed. I feel like, really, there's just something so magnetic about getting the right group of women together who are pretty equally aligned in kind of goals and your mission, your overall desires for your life, your health, outdoor pursuits, those kinds of things. It's so powerful. And we were talking last night at dinner, like, what is one of the things that you're most looking forward to this weekend? And without a doubt, every time my answer in a situation like this, where we're walking into camp, will be like coming in and watching all of these women tiptoe in this afternoon when they get here. They're all nervous to some degree or another. And they're all probably kind of wondering, as they're driving from all over the country for this trip, what the hell did I sign up for? Like, what did I get myself into? I don't know any of these women. Like, there's a lot of barriers, but what's going to happen on Sunday when they're all leaving and embracing each other and in tears? Like, it's really cool, because I think this group of women, the women that you just described, like outdoor, wanting to build their confidence, like see what they're capable of, like, there's so much really cool connection and power and empowerment in that kind of group. So I also kind of feel like it's a little bit like of a hook. Like, it makes our job so much more fun because we get to do it with women who, you're here because you want to get better. You want to improve those skills. I have to go back kind of like into your profession though, and talk. I want to bring up a few things. Like, when it comes to women in the outdoors, what are some of the common areas that women are struggling with kind of owning or adapting, getting better at? And what are some of the ways that you found can be successful for them kind of getting through that hurdle?
I feel like there's a difference between pursuing to be skinny and pursuing to be strong. And women typically are fed trained to be skinny, right? And so what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you go in and lift weights. At least it didn't. It's changing, thankfully. But even still, like, there's still this stigma of I need to do cardio all the time. Like, that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lift more than 15 pounds. Girl, your bag of groceries from Costco weighs a hell of a lot more than 15 pounds, right?
Right.
So, but specifically with women in the outdoors, again, it goes to the cardio, right? And it's, well, I'm going to backpack the CT this summer. I need to hike. Well, yes, miles in your boots do matter, but also, man, you got to work on those stability muscles around the hips, around the knees, around the ankles, even your core, your shoulders. It's a full body workout. Yeah. And the thing is, like, people see hiking, and I'm just using that as an example, but as hiking as just hiking. Oh, I'm just walking in a mountain, right? They don't think about the instability of the actual terrain and how that affects their body. So reverse engineering what the body is actually doing whenever you take a step on unsteady terrain. What is your body actually doing whenever you are packing out an animal, right? So it's not just la-di-da, let's go for a walk and carrying 50 pounds on our back, like no big deal. Like, no, it sits differently on your back, which then changes your biomechanics. So you have to train for that. And strength and being strong is the gateway to become a better hiker, become a better hunter, become a better runner, whatever, XYZ, fill in the blank with whatever you want. So that is the biggest stigma that I personally have set for spear strength to break, and just almost invite in, I don't want to say push, but invite women to go look at that barbell. Go pick up that barbell. Go pick up a heavier weight. Go pick up that 30-pound dumbbell. Stay away from the 15s, right? For right now, like, you are a lot stronger than you think. Yeah. It's so funny how intimidating women are to pick up a 20-pound dumbbell to lift, to pick out a 30-pound dumbbell to lift, for the fear of feeling like they're going to get bulky. Girl, I promise you are not going to bulk up. It takes a long time to build muscle. And I mean, what we see on Instagram and on social media of bodybuilders, and the majority of them, bodybuilding is hard. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes a lot to have that physique that they built. But also, like, realizing that just because you're lifting heavy does not mean you're going to look like them. Right. They're also taking, they could be taking gear. They could be taking other things. Not all of them, but it takes time. It takes dedication to look like that. And by you lifting for a year, you're not going to look like that.
Well, and I think another thing that women probably don't always associate is that those weights, if you are looking for weight loss, those weights can be a really good way building the strength, getting your metabolism increased. So I think sometimes, we tend to think that the beast is going to be the cardio button, right? Just doing the cardio on repeat. But really, if we're not stabilizing, building a strong core foundation like you were talking about, it's going to make everything hard still. Like, you're not going to level yourself up as far as the advantage that you could have if you did focus on your weight training.
Absolutely. And I mean, more and more research around women's specific health, thankfully, is coming out. And man, muscle is your metabolic sink. Muscle is the driver of your metabolism. And, yes, in your 20s and 30s and even 40s, right? So having muscle is great, but also, like you said, that foundation that you build of muscle in your 20s, 30s, and 40s is going to carry you over into perimenopause and menopause in your 50s, 60s, and even keep you more independent in your 80s and 90s, moving better, feeling stronger. And I don't know the research around this, but this is my personal theory. Again, I don't have any research to back it, but because women have only focused on cardio rather than building muscle and building strength, the osteoporosis, because we are more likely to have osteoporosis is because of the lack of muscle that we have had compared to men. Whereas, hey, what if we build more muscle and then it translates over into less osteoporosis or having like less osteopenia? I mean, some bone loss is going to happen because of aging, but I'm going to be really fascinated to see those numbers with the women now, like right now, who are lifting weights, who have a significant amount of muscle, and see them in their 80s and how they hold up compared to the women who didn't lift, who don't have muscle.
Oh, such a good perspective too. An interesting thought. It'd be really cool to see that data come back and just see, what those studies are showing. But that makes a lot of sense. And when you talk about too, like this idea of longevity, it's so funny because like I think back into training in my 20s and 30s, and I never thought about being 40 or 50 or 60 or 80. Right? Like I was just like, I want to perform like this right now, or I want to feel this way or look this way or whatever it was at the time. I was not then thinking about how are my knees and my back and my hips going to feel when I'm 40 and 50. And, my husband wants to go and do these backpack hunts until we're 70, right? Like, so now that I am 40, I hit 40 last year, I'm like, oh, crap. Like, and age has never been a thing for me. Don't really care about it. But once you start feeling physically some of those aging moments, it is a really, really hot ticket item then to be like, okay, I care about tomorrow. Like I care about how I'm training now, doing it smarter. So we're really excited too this weekend to talk to you a little bit more about that and kind of like that longevity approach, right? Like how can we train now to be in our best physical, mental state here, but also that it's not going to be a detriment to me, when I want to go and play with my grandkids someday. And, so I'm really excited for all of that information to get poured out this weekend through the ladies and talk about all that stuff. We have so many exciting things coming up. You and I also are collaborating on the Women's Wilderness Summit, which is happening in Lewistown, Montana, August 12th through the 17th. You're going to be there talking about some of your some of these things. But why don't you expand a little bit of your teachings for that summit?
This podcast is like just scratching the surface.
Seriously scratching the surface.
Yes. It's diving deeper into women around muscle, how to build the muscle safely, right? And again, like pay attention to that intimidation factor, right? Debunk a lot of myths around if you lift for a week, you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Protein is important.
Yeah.
Again, you're not going to look like a bodybuilder if you eat a gram per pound of goal body weight. I promise that is just maintenance. Yeah, talking about health, talking about recovery. I will say like one of my biggest things that I'm really excited to touch on and that I preach to my clients is filling up your cup first. And how do you do that? Whether that's taking time for yourself to journal, to go outside and just have like a breath to yourself. Yeah. But also taking care of yourself physically has to be a priority. It has to be. And there are so many women that I coach that are like, but my kids come first. But I need to do this. I need to do that first. And like, I'll get it in when I can. Yeah. Like, no, reverse that. You have to take care of yourself first, because in order to be selfless, you first have to be selfish. You have to be selfish with your time. You have to be selfish with your health, because if you are pouring from an empty cup, what are you getting? Energy backwash. And there's no such thing as good backwash. Like, that's gross.
Good point.
Yeah. So you have to fill up your cup first, so then you can pour into your spouse, into your kids, into your employees, into the people that you interact with, even if that is via social. And so filling up your cup first, so then you can better show up for your kids. So you can better show up for your spouse. So I'm very passionate about that, making it a lifestyle, because then If you want your kids to be healthy, who are they going to look to?
Right.
They're going to look to you. You are the best example that you can set for your kids on what it means to live a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so, I love that you bring that up too, because I love watching. I mean, you know, I've got kids too, and one of them's grown out of the house, but, you know, getting to be that role model for them, but watching other women like hit these milestones, or, you know, when they're posting workout videos and their kiddos are walking around in the background, like, good for you. Like, let them see it. Like, let them sit there and wait 20 minutes while you do your workout, right? Invite them to come in with you, but like, let them see it, because when we're modeling that lifestyle, like you just mentioned, they're only going to have more healthy, you know, habits and examples in front of them that hopefully help them carry on, you know, a lifetime and a lifestyle full of health and wellness kind of focus. If not, what do we end up doing? We end up being in the reactive space where now we're trying to chase symptoms or, you know, fix injuries, and those things will happen despite your best efforts too, of course. But I feel like if you are a little bit more in this like proactive approach, like, okay, I might not be in the season that I want to be someday, but here I am now. What can I do to get started? That piece is really awesome, and we're excited to chat with that. Chat on those topics at the Wellness Summit coming up in August. That'll be really awesome. We also have Sierra Jepson there talking about wild game butchery and field dressing. I think that'll be really fun. We're going to actually bring in an animal to work with hands-on, so the ladies will get that piece. We're going to do some live fire training with Athena Tactics, Amanda Rose. We got Morgan Wines there talking about navigation and Onyx maps and animal identification and so many good things, including the work that you're going to be doing there as well. So exciting. And this, like you said, is just scratching the surface, because Kim is going to come back on for another episode. And we're going to talk deep dive into health and training modalities and ways that women can really tackle their goals for getting outside, whether that's for hunting or just general recreation or just feeling your best for the long-term health. So that's exciting. Yeah. So we're going to go into different mode here in a couple hours. We're going to go do archery camp, and I think that'll be fun. We'll be popping some of that up on social. I didn't bring my notes. What am I forgetting that we wanted to talk about?
Oh gosh.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
the big announcement, like the big piece that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yes.
So season 9 of the podcast is going to come with some major perks. We're going to do some continuing education and hands-on trainings that you'll get to be a part of. So we're not going to dish too many details right now. I think we're going to trickle them out here over the next 2 weeks. But there's going to be lots of really, really great trainings and masterclasses from industry pros, like I mentioned, that can come in. We'll be able to ask questions to individuals like yourself, like, hey, I have this question about what I've been dealing with this thing. And getting to ask those questions and have that feedback, I think is going to be so important and so great for the listeners. So we're excited to bring season 9 of the Soul Summit podcast. And of course, like I mentioned, Kim will be coming back on, and we're going to deep dive into some more fitness things. But for this time and this recording, I'm just going to leave it with, where can people find you online?
Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram. Spear Strength Wellness is my handle. Yep. Instagram.
And okay, this is like just outside of anything I've ever told her to her face, but like her Instagram is pretty legit. She's funny.
Thanks.
Her reels are amazing. Definitely go over there and check it out, because I think it's worth a follow, and your information, the insight that you give, like the myths that you're constantly debunking are awesome. So don't be afraid. Go reach out. Go find her. And again, we'll have her back on doing lots of cool things in season 9 of the Soul Summit podcast. We thank you for diving back in with us today.
The Soul Summit podcast is brought to you by Maven Optics, Bakcou e-bikes, Hoyt Archery, Onyx Maps, and Sawyer Products. For more information on these companies or to access the Soul Summit podcast discount codes, be sure to check out our show notes.